Why do some absolute value inequalities have no solution? Imagine trying to find a number that fits a rule that just doesn't make sense. Sometimes, when solving absolute value inequalities, you end up with no possible answers. That can seem confusing, but it all comes down to what absolute value really means. Absolute value shows how for a number is from 0 on the number line. It can never be negative because distance can't be less than 0. When solving these inequalities, the first step is to isolate the absolute value expression. Then, you split the inequality into two parts, 1/4 when the absolute value is positive and 1/4 when it is negative. But sometimes, the rules you get from this process tell you something impossible. For example, if the inequality says the absolute value is less than a negative number, like x less than -3, it makes no sense. Since absolute value can never be negative, no number can satisfy this. So, in cases like this, there is no solution at all. The same applies if the inequality says x less than or equal to a negative number. On the other hand, if the inequality states that the absolute value is greater than or equal to a negative number, like x greater than or equal to -1, then every real number works. Because absolute value is always 0 or positive, it will always be greater than or equal to any negative number. So, in this case, all numbers are solutions. Another tricky situation is when splitting the inequality creates two conditions that can't happen at the same time. For example, if one part says x must be greater than 5, and the other says must be less than 2, no number can satisfy both. This kind of contradiction means there is no solution. So, the main reason some absolute value inequalities have no solution is because they ask for something impossible, like the absolute value being less than a negative number. Remember, absolute value can never be negative, so if your inequality asks for that, you can stop and say no solutions exist. Checking the number on the other side of the inequality after isolating the absolute value helps you see quickly if there are solutions or not. If it's negative and the inequality is less than or equal to, then you know right away there are no solutions. This simple step saves time and helps you understand the problem better.